The rain hammered against the corrugated iron roof of the abandoned observatory, a relentless percussion accompanying our investigation. The air inside was thick with the smell of damp wood and decaying paper, a scent that clung to the remnants of Professor Alistair Finch's life, or rather, what remained of it. It had been nearly 70 years since his disappearance, yet the questions surrounding him and his obsessive pursuit of temporal displacement hadn't faded. We were here, in the desolate hills of Northumberland, England, seeking answers to a question that has plagued humanity for centuries. Is time travel possible? My name is Elias Thorne, and I'm the lead investigator for The Curious Investigator. My team, Liam, our tech specialist, and Chloe, our historical researcher, were meticulously documenting every detail of this forgotten corner of scientific endeavor. The observatory itself was a testament to Finch's singular focus. A converted Victorian mansion perched precariously on the highest point, dominated by a colossal, disused telescope that pointed perpetually towards the heavens. Finch wasn't a household name, not in his lifetime. He was a brilliant, if eccentric, physicist who had spent decades developing theories of temporal mechanics, ideas considered wildly speculative at the time. His research, largely self-funded through shrewd investments, and a small, devoted circle of colleagues, centered around manipulating gravitational fields to create localized distortions in spacetime. It sounded like science fiction, but Finch's calculations were remarkably precise, based on a deep understanding of Einstein's theory of relativity, combined with what appeared to be an intuitive grasp of something beyond established physics. Liam, run another scan of the central chamber, I instructed, my voice echoing slightly in the vast space. I want a detailed analysis of the residual energy signatures, anything unusual. Liam, hunched over his portable device, was a man who lived amongst data. He could discern patterns invisible to the untrained eye, translating complex readings into actionable intelligence. Still nothing significant, Elias, he reported, his fingers dancing across the touchscreen. The electromagnetic field is consistently flat, but there's a faint trace of something. It's intermittent, almost like it's being suppressed. Chloe was diligently examining Finch's journals, a chaotic collection of handwritten notes, diagrams, and equations scrawled on parchment and paper. Finch believed he wasn't trying to travel through time in the conventional sense, she explained, her brow furrowed in concentration. He theorized about creating a temporal echo, a localized bubble where time would flow at a different rate relative to the outside world. It's less like jumping to another era and more like experiencing a moment out of sync. The initial evidence suggested Finch was close. His experiments involved generating incredibly powerful gravitational fields using rotating magnetic coils, a feat requiring immense energy, which he obtained through a series of increasingly unorthodox and potentially illegal dealings with local coal mines. He believed the key lay in harnessing and focusing the rotational momentum of a specific alloy, a rare combination of tungsten and iridium he dubbed chromium. The disappearance was perplexing. Finch vanished without a trace on November 12, 1953. The observatory was found locked from the inside, with equipment left running as if he'd simply stepped away for a moment. There were no signs of forced entry, no indication of struggle, and no witnesses to his departure. The official explanation, accidental death due to an electrical malfunction, always felt insufficient. As Liam continued his scans, Chloe made a startling discovery within the journals. "Elias, look at this," she exclaimed, pointing to a series of meticulously drawn diagrams depicting what appeared to be a complex sequence of operations. Finch wasn't just experimenting with gravitational fields. He was attempting to synchronize these fields with specific astronomical events, particularly solar eclipses. The diagrams correlated precisely with the dates and times of several significant solar eclipses that had occurred between 1948 and 1953. He believed that the unique alignment of the Sun, Moon, and Earth during these eclipses created a temporary distortion in spacetime, a window of opportunity for his experiment. "It's remarkably specific," Liam murmured, analyzing the data. The energy fluctuations spike exactly when he predicted they would, coinciding with the projected peak intensity of the eclipse. A chilling realization began to dawn on me. Finch wasn't merely conducting experiments, he was attempting to orchestrate them. He was trying to exploit a natural phenomenon, believing it could be manipulated with enough precision and energy. The idea was audacious, bordering on delusional, but the detail in his calculations couldn't be dismissed. We spent days meticulously reconstructing Finch's final experiment based on his journals and Liam's data analysis. We replicated the arrangement of the magnetic coils, painstakingly recreated the chromium alloy, a process that proved surprisingly difficult. The metal was incredibly unstable, and even attempted to replicate the precise sequence of operations he had outlined. The results were unsettling. During one attempt, as we activated the coils, the air in the central chamber began to shimmer. The temperature plummeted dramatically. Liam's equipment went haywire, spitting out a chaotic stream of data. We quickly shut down the system, but the residual effect lingered, a faint distortion in our perception, a sense of disorientation. "It's working," Liam whispered, his voice filled with a mixture of awe and apprehension. He actually created a localized temporal anomaly. We realized that Finch hadn't vanished. He had been pulled into this anomaly, briefly displaced from the normal flow of time. The question was, where and for how long? Further investigation revealed a hidden compartment within the observatory's control room, a small, lead-lined box containing a single object, a tarnished silver pocket watch. The hands were frozen at precisely 3:17 p.m. on November 12, 1953. Chloe identified the manufacturer as a small, bespoke clockmaker in London who had specialized in creating watches for wealthy industrialists and scientists. The watch was remarkably well preserved considering it had been hidden away for 70 years. Attached to the back of the watch was a tiny, folded piece of paper, a final note from Finch. "If you are reading this," he wrote, his handwriting shaky but legible, "then I have succeeded partially. The anomaly stabilized for approximately 47 seconds. During that time, I perceived fragments, moments from different points in my life. My childhood, my early scientific breakthroughs, and a glimpse of the future, a desolate landscape, shrouded in darkness." The note was cryptic, but it offered a crucial piece of information. Finch hadn't traveled to another time. He had experienced altered perceptions of his own timeline. It suggested that his temporal echo wasn't about physical displacement, but about manipulating consciousness within the existing temporal framework. But there was more. Liam discovered something even stranger in the data logs, a secondary energy signature, faint but undeniably present, originating not from the magnetic coils, but from outside the observatory. It was as if another anomaly had been created, overlapping with Finch's. "The energy signature is shifting," Liam announced urgently. "It's moving towards us." Suddenly, the rain intensified, and a low hum filled the air. The telescope began to rotate on its own, pointing not at the heavens, but directly at us. A shimmering distortion appeared in the center of the room, not an anomaly like Finch had created, but something different. It was dark, opaque, and seemed to pulse with an unsettling energy. As we stared into the distortion, images flashed before our eyes, fragments of history, moments from countless lives, swirling together in a chaotic vortex. We experienced glimpses of ancient Rome, Victorian London, the American Civil War, all superimposed upon our current reality. It was as if time itself had become fluid, collapsing and expanding around us. Then, just as abruptly as it began, it stopped. The distortion vanished, the telescope ceased its rotation, and the humming faded away. We were left shaken, disoriented, and profoundly changed. We hadn't traveled through time. We had been momentarily exposed to the raw fabric of temporal existence, a terrifying and exhilarating experience that shattered our understanding of reality. The mystery of Professor Alastair Finch remained unsolved, but his experiment yielded a profound truth. The potential for manipulating time isn't about building machines or harnessing energy, it's about altering perception. Finch hadn't found a way to travel through time. He had found a way to momentarily experience it. As we prepared to leave the observatory, I looked back at the disused telescope, its lens pointed eternally towards the heavens. I realized that Finch wasn't a failure. He was a pioneer, a man who dared to question the fundamental nature of reality, and in doing so, opened a door to possibilities beyond our comprehension. The unsettling feeling lingered, the sense that we had only scratched the surface of this incredible mystery. The data Liam had collected suggested further experimentation could potentially unlock even greater control over temporal perception. But with such power comes immense responsibility. The question remains, is time travel possible? We may never have a definitive answer, but Finch's story demonstrates that perhaps the most profound journeys aren't about traversing space, but about exploring the boundless depths of consciousness and the strange, beautiful, and terrifying nature of time itself. Our investigation concluded not with a solution, but with an invitation to continue questioning, to continue seeking, and to never stop wondering about the mysteries that lie just beyond our grasp. The rain continued to fall, washing away the dust of the past, leaving behind only the enduring echo of Professor Alastair Finch's audacious dream.